What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm currently out here in St. Louis, Missouri, spending some time with my mother before I head back to school. Besides hanging out with her, I'm actually meeting up with a friend of mine who I met online, who's another videographer. We're going to be talking about some videography stuff and talking about a new series that I have for you guys coming out. So can't wait to showcase that for you guys. And yeah, we'll be meeting up with him in like 5 minutes or so at a coffee shop. So I'll see you guys when we get there. All right, what's up, Drew?
What's good?
What we doing?
We're in St. Louis today, taking around the loop, and we're gonna get a quick interview podcast going. You guys are gonna enjoy it. Hopefully, they'll enjoy it.
Yeah, they should. They
some
should.
facts, some wisdom. But let's get to it. Inspiration, motivation. But yeah, check out the city, man. It's pretty. St. Louis.
So today we are doing the first episode of documenting the life of a filmmaker. I'm here with my man Andrew. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? I'm excited to be on the documentary because first episode too, man.
Yeah,
gosh, dude, what an honor.
Heck yeah.
Let's get it.
So I guess we'll first off start off with what got you into film creating and all that.
So basically, a little bit about my story is back in 2016, I had a camera, a DSLR, that I bought off Craigslist for $500. So I met the guy at Bass Pro Shop, was feared for my life, but it ended up being a good purchase. That turned into a YouTube channel called Mindset of a Master. Basically, I went out and started interviewing entrepreneurs because I was just really interested in entrepreneurship. And what better way than to ask questions, right? A lot of people on this podcast too, someone that asks questions is usually the one of the smarter kids in the room, but growing up, it wasn't always that way. Growing up, I was very slow learner. It took me a while to process information. My mind was always outside of the classroom. They always said color inside the lines. Like, I had trouble coloring inside the lines. I was just out there. So from a point of 18 years old to now I'm 21, with a YouTube channel started out, turned that into a full video production business. We also do social media management now. And yeah, the last 3 years been growing it steadily every single year. And now we're able to do more corporate end productions and more influencer marketing because of the experience I had when I was 18 years old, started out there.
Nice. So talk to me about like what exactly are you doing for these corporate businesses and stuff, video production wise?
So basically, when we get in, we're pretty much vetting them from every angle. And to leave out extraneous details, basically we take their product and what they have, their vision. Whether we create a storyboard around that, whether we create a script around that, we want to be able to see what they have as a product and then show them how we can solve that for them. So corporate end clients might be more cultural, right? More advanced with employees. Maybe they want a recruiting video. Maybe they want a product end video, right? One of my great friends and partners right now is working with a client that's basically just wanting him to show the product and showing how it works and showing different displays. So corporate is very similar to influencer marketing, but the projects are more internal than external, and they also have a higher paying budgets majority of the time.
Yeah, definitely. Like I know with me right now is I'm working with this company called the Source H2O, and basically they're a water company that provides filtration products. Like they have shower heads, like you can put on your shower head, and what we'll do, we'll remove all the chlorine and like all the toxic stuff that you don't want getting in your skin, and like
It's really cool.
it's really hype. And like they also have like these filtration, like these huge little things that you're able to like put in your house. I don't know where you put them and like how they connect it, which I should probably educate myself on because I'm working with them.
You gotta sell yourself in the product, yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I've been doing some corporate work for them. And I totally agree with you on the whole side of the pay and stuff. Like this is like one of my first paid gigs with this company, and it's really cool. And just like the experience is so totally different than than how it is with influencing.
Yeah, no, it's a totally different ballgame.
Mhm.
And obviously, here and everyone else that's watching, the whole goal, I think, should be get to that point.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us, what I did back in 18 years old was I was looking at the numbers of how many people had followers, what could they offer me. And I was interviewing entrepreneurs that had, $100,000 annual income to 10 million plus. And I was interviewing them specifically to get something back, which was the wrong mentality. And I think maybe you fell into this trap too, looking at just the how much influence they have. And once I learned that, I got burned a couple times on free work and running around in circles. I'm like, man, maybe I should worry less about the influence and more about the client, build them up and build myself up, and also I can take that business and reinvest into myself.
Definitely. Shoot, I'm stuck. I'm trying
No,
to build
you're good,
on the conversation.
You're good, man. And what I do too is I never have questions written out. I just have a conversation with that person, and the more real we can get, the more value they receive.
Exactly.
Because if I'm just being inauthentic, like I mentioned pay and everything, like I have no problem talking about that. I have no problem talking about my biggest failure, what's been like the hardest hardship, because that's things they like. They don't want to hear a glamorama story.
Well, yeah, and then
They
like
can't relate.
everything almost online is scripted now, where like everyone acts like a certain persona, and like you have to be perfect. Like I know you mentioned on you posted something on Instagram lately about how you don't really care about like how you look anymore, and
it's true.
it's like it literally everything is like now perfectionist, and like it's good to be like that because like you want to showcase your best work, but at times it's like also just like you spend so much time perfecting your craft, and like I guess the mentality is you definitely want to make sure your work is really good, but you also don't want to get to the point where that's all you care about.
Exactly. Where you're getting at, it's what my mentor always says, it's analysis paralysis. The ability to aim, but never fire. And I fall in this perfectionist mindset. I know a lot of creators do. I mean, the biggest thing I usually get is, Andrew, would you like this video to put on my newsfeed? What's your recommendation? Can you give me a rating? And I think one time you actually sent me that video yourself. Yeah. And you're like, hey, why don't you give me some criticism on this? But the beautiful thing was you already posted it. So a lot of people get into that mindset of, I'm just going to take what I have and work on it and maybe get someone else to help me out, and they keep aiming. And what that does is, number one, you don't push out anything, so you don't really get any criticism or feedback. And number two, what you're doing is you're telling yourself that I'm not good enough. I am not great enough for the online world, and my quality is never going to be up there. So you have no quantity to even have a quality. People are like, oh, I can't post because it's not the best quality. It's like, dude, you haven't even posted yet.
Exactly.
You have 3 posts, and you don't have any other influence around that. So what is people judging? Like my biggest thing too is like, especially now, is like we're micro influencers, I would say, and we're building up our personal brands. By no way do I have the biggest influence in the world, but I have not that many people watching. So the key is, for me, if I have nobody watching, I can do anything I want.
That is facts.
I can try many lanes. I can see what sticks. I can do different entertainments. I told you before, I was like, I'm going on 2 different avenues with entertaining and business. Why? Because I can. I don't have 16, 18 million followers that are watching my every step. I have freedom. So that's another thing I thought about too. It's like, what if you flipped it and looked at it from, man, no one's watching but me.
Yeah, I know Gary Vaynerchuk a while back, he posted something about that. It's like, you're so worried about your content being like a certain way, but you really don't know what exactly the expectation for that video is. Like, you might think it's completely terrible, but like there could be like 300 people out there who think your work is absolutely amazing. And I think that's like for me right now, I mean, I'm not really a big YouTuber, I'm not a big Instagram, I guess Instagrammer or influencer. And like one of my recent videos on my channel, like that's almost at like 900 views, still growing every day, and that's a huge accomplishment for me, because usually like my views are like around average maybe like 50 to 100.
Yeah.
This one's like really steadily growing. It keeps steadily growing every day. And like that video, like it wasn't the best quality I've ever put into it. It was literally just me like hiking up a pair of stairs and like just vlogging my experience, and like a ton of people liked it. I mean, I think it has the
highest attraction
highest attraction, but also watch time than any of my other videos. So like I'm super like I'm happy with it. I'm glad how it turned out. And I guess now we go into a topic, and I know I personally like struggled with this. Is like expectations for videos. Like you create a video and it gains so much traction. How do you like? What would you think is the best way to overcome that feeling? Because I know like for me, I'll make a video and it does really well, and I'm like, oh, I want to produce something like that and at that level again. But then the next thing you produce, you don't feel as satisfied as you did with that previous video.
Yeah, and that's a great thing too. I think a lot of creators relate to is you get in that mode of getting that 900 views, and then you make the next video and it gets 100, and you're like, what the hell did I do wrong? You start asking, hey mom, maybe this filmmaking thing ain't for me, maybe I should go back to school, and you get in this whole like demonizing cycle of how am I going to get back from this? How can I think about the next move without taking one step backwards? And the thing I talk about a lot is being emotionally attached. When you are emotionally attached to your work and your creation and you treat it like a baby, you start to get really attached to that thing if it fails. Like my business, I always say like my business can fail tomorrow and I'd still end up rich. I'd still end up with my craft, the things I've learned, the network I've built, and I'd be able to do any other thing. And it's the ability, number one, it's sales. You gotta be willing to sell, that's what key is. But number two, it's like, I'm not emotionally attached, because if I'm emotionally attached and that fails tomorrow, I'm gonna fail with it. I'm gonna have my mindset go with it, everything's gonna be wiped. But if I treat it like an actual business and I get attached to people instead of the business, then I can have a better relationship with my business, because someone comes back and says, hey Andrew, I know you just worked 10 hours on that film. I know you put a lot of revisions into it, but it's a piece of shit. I'm like, all right, what else we gotta do? And what else we got? Tell me what I gotta do. Maybe go back to drawing board. All right, we gotta do this. Okay, great, I'm on it. Most creators though, when they get that, they're like, man, fuck that guy. Or man, screw that guy, I don't wanna do work with him. I'm better than him, blah, blah, blah. They play in a victim mode. And when you get in a victim mentality when it comes to business, that's what guys like, yeah, Nick and I come back in, we're like, oh, I don't take offense from that. They're like, man, thank you so much. So that's my point. It's expectation of, maybe this isn't gonna be the biggest video, but I'm posting it for myself.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, I think, something I need to work on. And it's like, even with like, what would you say? I know with my YouTube channel, it's like, I talk to myself, and like, I've ran this thing for about a year, and I know people have grown more than me. Like I only have like 66 subscribers right now, and part of me like it wants to blame other people, like why, like my content's good, like I should have more subscribers, blah blah blah. But then like I realized it's just like, okay, first of all, you're not producing content, like you're not doing like twice a week, you're literally doing it like once every month, and like that's completely like, that's not a good strategy to actually grow. And that's like something right now I've been trying to work on, is starting to be like, okay, what is actually like, because I think the hardest part is finding like actually what do you want to post, and like stuff that you actually resonate with, and it'll be easier for you to produce. Because not like I'm gonna be like FaZe Rug or Jake Paul and be like, I'm gonna go spend $10 million on like on something for a video. Like I just can't do that. So it's like figuring out what I can resonate with, and plus I can't be an entertainer, so
exactly. I mean, you're knowing your lane, and the thing is too with what you just said, you have a bunch of things going on in your mind of like, what's the people gonna react to? What's the people gonna think of this video? What if I try entertainment? What's the reaction that's gonna happen? And I went through that too, where it's like, what am I gonna post? What are my tractions looking like? Like one thing I look at really in depth, and people don't really look at it that much, is data. Like whenever I post my YouTube videos or my content on Instagram, I look at data, and I'm driven by my data. So I go back and view analytics, I go back and view my comment section, I go back and view my DMs by the end of the day, and I look at, all right, how many people responded, how many people sent it to another person, how many people saved it. And then taking that data and taking that similar type of content and then pushing out stuff to those type of people can be a very tactical way of you solving that problem. Another way I've done before, because I too fall in that trap of, I'm gonna post 6 days a week, we're gonna go hard, Gary Vee, document, and you start to get that mindset of like go, 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 and you have this hierarchy goal, but you don't have these small steps to get there. So every week I sit down and I plan out a content schedule on my calendar and on the specific platforms I'm going to post. So three, 4 times a week, I'll have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Sunday. And those days I have specific platforms when I'm gonna post, whether it's a picture, whether it's a video, whether it's an article. And that way I know I'm gonna be set to that standard.
All right, so we gotta kind of cut this episode short, even though it's the first episode, because I actually gotta run real quick. I gotta get back to, I'm actually staying in Branson, Missouri, and that's like a 4-hour ride from here. Yeah, I drove all the way to St. Louis just to meet with this dude.
What a disappointment. It's a great city, so I hope you enjoyed it.
And always inspired. I really like it here. I was gonna say it's humid.
Yeah, it's hella humid.
What else was I gonna say?
Getting back to the topic.
Let's go, guys. So, final question for you. So, as a creative, like, I guess, what are some of like your big, like I kind of explained to you some of my struggles.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest struggles you faced? Like getting your YouTube started, Instagram influencing and all that.
So just in the beginning, mostly how I overcame some of those hurdles. And
pretty much.
Etc. Yeah. So basically, in the beginning, when I was YouTubing and I was just interviewing people, kind of like this, and I know a lot of creatives want to do that too. They have their own podcast, they want to start their own YouTube channel. I was specifically going to entrepreneurs, filming them for free, and then following up a sale, right? I was like, hey, I know I just filmed an interview for you. Would you ever consider me to do a video production? They're like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, all right, great. I come back to the business. I'm like, hey, Mr. Bob, I got a business now. Can you do videos with you? I know I interviewed you. And he's like, no, sorry, man, I don't got the budget. So then I'm running back in circles, and I'm like, wait, I just interviewed 15 entrepreneurs, and all of them said no. So what I had to overcome was that taking mentality, that mindset of take, or give and take. And not to say that that's a bad thing, right? You have to know when to match another person. If they're giving to you and you're able to give to them, you can cross interline. What I'm getting at is a simple concept of knowing when to price yourself at the high majority in order to get those higher end paying clients. Like I said, I travel the country, I've done multiple corporate shoots, I've been able to work and rub shoulders with a lot of influencers that have 500,000 to 5 million plus followers on all across platforms. Who gives a shit? What I learned was the people that have the highest amount of followers are often not the best people to work for because they didn't have, number one, the budget for me, and they're pumping out so much content that I start getting the rhythm of like not appreciating my content.
Yeah, exactly.
So not to say that's a bad thing, but you gotta find the best people, and I talked about this earlier. The simple thing for me, I look at how many people do they have on payroll, how many employees do they have, how many salaries they have, what is their company outlook, do they have an LLC, like the data. I'm very analytical when it comes to doing business, because if I get cut off one day and I'm 6 months in my contract, right? And they're like, hey, we don't have any budget for video, we don't want to do this anymore, great. I'm like, all right, no problem. And if I don't have a contract with them, or I don't have an existing client acquisition, then I'm screwed. And that's what happened to me before, and it'll happen to you, where it's like I was doing work for influencers and they're able to cut you off so quick. But corporate, it's a little bit different, because now you can sign contracts, now you can be employed. So that's my biggest hurdle I had to overcome, was knowing when to price myself, and also knowing how to give and take, and not just be a free filmmaker.
Well, give the viewers the story of when you were recording with an influencer and you actually almost lost your house.
Yeah, so basically, like about a year and a half ago, almost a year, I was a year and 3 months ago, I was working with an influencer, and I was working for free. And then I was working for about 2 months practically, and I was just paying all my expenses with the money they were giving me. But I wasn't getting any income in. So I was 3 weeks late on rent, and I came back to my house, and I got a text from my landlord saying, hey, you're 3 weeks late on rent, and I know I asked you 5 times, this can be the last and final notice. So here I am 3 weeks in, late on rent, and I have 15 videos to make, and I was just like fight or flight mode. So I had to figure it out. I had to sell, I had to pick up multiple jobs, and it was a bad time in my life, and I don't want to go back to that, and I refuse to. So a lot of people listening to this may not hear those type of stories. They might not, a lot of filmmakers like, I want to work for Jay Shetty or, you know, all these big influencers, and those are great people, I'm not saying anything's wrong. But like some of them are not the best for your business. So just figuring out who your client is, and like I said, vetting them is very important, so you don't have to go what I had to deal with, because that was probably one of the hardest times in my life. And as a creative, who wants to go through that? You want to create, you want to be a video producer.
Definitely.
You have to get paid for that.
Yeah, you want your focus on your creative work, not stressing about rent and
yeah,
exactly.
But you got to pay bills, and
Exactly.
I think that's also we going back to what you said, earned income versus passive income. In the beginning, like a lot of people don't believe this. They want to burn the boat so fast, so they want to go right into entrepreneurship. I've done it before, and I've succeeded for a majority of months until that thing happened with an influencer. But you have to recognize your lane, and building up that capital to reinvest in your videography business can be a great solution in the beginning. I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing to quit your day job in order to build a side income.
Yep. Well, appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you, dude. Missouri, Colorado, dude. We're gonna come out with a bunch of episodes, probably be on episode 500 with this guy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fire.
It's gonna be fire. You gotta bring me back on.
Gonna get my content game up more. I've been learning a lot about like sales, marketing, and just like everything. So
Dude, you're killing
you guys will
bro.
have some killer videos soon.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you. Appreciate it, bro.
All right,
See
dog.
you soon, man.
I'll see you later.
Boom.